In this video I'm going to talk about 5 places I would return to and why, and 5 places I wouldn't and my reasons for that. I'm not going to consider long-haul locations as the distance would be a major factor, so as I'm based in Europe, this will be about European locations. So getting straight into it. Nice. Nice is somewhere I would go back to, although I've been many times. I love the city, its location on the beach, the colour of the sea, the food, and the good attitude of the people that live and visit there. It doesn't cost a fortune and has good access to the rest of the south of France. Florence. I first visited Florence in my 20s, going there 3 times. It was somewhere that stuck in my memory that I couldn't forget, so this year I returned. But on this last visit, although it's still an incredible place, I feel I'm good with it. The sheer number of tourists makes it somewhere I'm not prepared to battle through again. Only very early in the morning was the city really enjoyable. I'm over Florence now. Iceland. I've been to Iceland several times, each time getting further into the country or going at a different time of year. I feel there's still a lot to see. If I go back every 3 years or so, I can imagine going there until I can no longer travel. The landscapes, the people and the music, all good reasons to go back. Krakow. I wasn't in Krakow very long, but somehow it didn't inspire me. I guess the main reason you go is to experience Polish culture, and as a solo traveller I didn't really feel I did. While the architecture was okay, it wasn't stunning enough to want to go back and see again. The food didn't really grab me either. It wasn't any better than British food. The main draw, the Polish sausage, but let's face it, the UK is pretty good at sausage too. Maybe if I was to go with someone of Polish background, I'd go back, but I don't think I'd go on my own. Andalusia. I first visited Andalusia in my early 20s. It was the most exotic place I'd ever seen. The Moorish architecture being totally new to me. The beautiful tropical gardens and the 40-degree heat was all new. And next year I'm planning to return. It's a fantastic region and I have to see it again. Las Palmas. To be fair to Las Palmas on Gran Canaria, I didn't go there at a good time of year. But the Canaries are sold as a year-round destination. I just happened to arrive in an Atlantic winter storm. It was pretty grim, I got sick, there was no heating in the hotel and the food was pretty basic. I had a bad experience, maybe the worst travel experience I've had. I wouldn't rule out going to other parts of Gran Canaria, but certainly not Las Palmas. Netherlands. Inspired by some of the great explorers to come out of the Netherlands, both historical and current, this was a country I wanted to see more of. After coming to realise the Netherlands wasn't all about Amsterdam. I visited Rotterdam a couple of years ago and this was very different. There are many other parts of the Netherlands I'd like to see, the coastal landscapes and some of the other cities. And it's so easy to get to from the UK, I'd go back for sure. Antalya. I'd heard that Turkey had really developed since I went there in my late 20s, and Antalya was one of the places that kept being mentioned. Sold by photos of the amazing mountains at the end of Konyalte Beach I visited a few years back. The mountains were indeed amazing, but on their own aren't enough to make me go back. Maybe it was the staff in the hotels that were unfriendly, or the food that didn't inspire me. While I would go to Turkey for sure, Antalya I'd give a miss. Norway. I first visited Norway on an interrail trip in my early 20s, and it was somewhere I always remembered. Somehow though, I didn't go back till this year. Maybe it was the idea that it was expensive, but this year I found ways to keep the costs down and had a great trip there. There is so much more to see, and it's somewhere I'd love to get back to, this time not leaving it so long. Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik is known as the Pearl of the Adriatic, and it is indeed stunning, the first time. But like Venice and Santorini, the massive over-tourism there makes it somewhere I don't want to go to again. Croatia for sure, but not Dubrovnik. Cruise ships and ever-increasing air travel have swamped these places. They aren't big places and they just can't cope with the quantities of visitors. With ever-increasing tourism, and more countries reaching a point where they can afford to travel to Europe, this is only going to get worse. So that's my 5 locations I would return to and 5 I wouldn't. Maybe a subjective list. How do you feel about these places, and which of the destinations would you return to or not, and why? Hope this has been a fun video, and thanks for watching.